What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And we are recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 3, Episode 7. And it's called The Man in Black.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines from the episode. So stick around for that.
And we have a few announcements, so also stick around for that. For anybody who's joining us for the very first time, thanks so much for coming through. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And for all of our returning listeners, thanks for coming back. Let's get into the episode.
Let's get into it. It was really good. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was jam-packed.
Lots of things happened.
And I think we got a lot of good-ish up in here. So I'm really happy with this episode. The ending, WTF
so
for
many
sure.
Things.
But let's start from the top.
So this episode was really interesting because they changed it up a little bit in terms of how it was set up.
So I think it was resembling episode 7 from last season.
True story. Yes. The Christmas episode from last episode.
Which gets broken up into 3 kind of storylines, right?
Yeah, like the
which I loved from last season. And the way they did it. This tonight's episode was with Archie and Jughead, and then Veronica, and then Betty.
Yeah. So we'll start off with Archie and Jughead first, and they're on the run. So their whole storyline is they're like Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Or in The Walking Dead at some point.
Right. So they stumble upon a farm. And we originally thought, like in the promo, we thought that it was the farm, but it's not the farm. It's just a farm. So
it's not the farm. It's the A farm. It's a farm.
It's a farm. And so for one, we forget that Jughead is trying to call Betty because he hasn't been able to reach her.
Right. And he has no idea what's happening with her.
Like
this poor guy's like, hey girl, where are you? Like, I'm on the run, but like I'm still thinking about you. Yeah, so can you call me back, please? Love you, bye.
Yeah.
And then it's just like silence.
Yeah. So that happens, and anyway, so they end up at this farm, and Archie's like feeling really good about it. He's like, I got a really good feeling about this place. It sounds
I feel like at home when I'm here.
Like, oh God, if Archie thinks it's a good idea, he's
gonna
it's definitely
be a cowboy now.
So right when they're like trying to like get in or trying to find like the people, somebody shows up behind them, and it's like some
and
chick
then they all have
gun.
guns too. Don't forget, because
like, America. So
I don't want to say it.
The girl's like, you're trespassing, and they start lying about their names. They choose like the most random names ever.
What was it?
Cal and Biff.
I bet you it's some like next film, like next, shout out
storyline. Yeah, let us know if you guys
Archie was so lit to like have a second persona. Like, guys, he was like, that's my name for sure.
Don't wear it out.
I'm not lying.
Yeah. So and they're from Centerville, not from Riverdale. Okay, you guys sound so fake. So already the girl, like the main girl, she was like, they're already lying to us, but they just say like, listen, this is our story. Like, can you please like let us stay? And so she decides to like do it. She's a cute girl.
Yeah.
Her name's Lori Lake.
And
her sister's name is Gracie.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter because nothing really happens after that. But they have dinner. She's like, you hungry? Like, let's eat.
Yeah, I'll make you food.
So she makes like this really cute dinner, like Barefoot Contessa style. And then they're like eating outside. And then they're like, you can stay in the barn. So they're staying in the barn, and they're just like talking about their whole plan. Like, they're not even whispering. They're like, yo, we're lying about everything. Is this cool or not? Do you feel
like, don't forget, you're lying, bro. Yeah. You better like be more chill, bro. Because we're lying.
And right in that moment, like Lori comes in with blanket. She's like, hello, guys.
Yeah.
Like, such a weirdo. So then the next morning.
And then she was like,
oh yeah.
She's like to Archie, she's like, do you need another blanket? And he's like, no.
Like,
and she's like, do you need one? I'll come make you warm. And he's like, no, I'm good. And then like, yeah, like she gave him that look.
Like
she
wink,
was
wink,
like, hey.
I'll
and then she walked away. And then like KJ's face was like, I don't know, man.
I don't know what you're talking
was
about. Like, hello.
You just broke up with freaking Veronica.
/ like you didn't really. Like you just like disappeared.
Yeah.
But so anyway, cut to the next morning and talk about thirst trap, guys, because we get like Archie like with those bales of hay. He
just wasn't wearing a shirt this episode, basically.
Which
like,
I was like totally into.
They should credit like KJ Appa and then like KJ Appa's abs as like the second tier like cast.
100%. So he's like moving the bales of hay, and obviously like Jughead comes in. He's like, you know what? You do this.
He's like, you know what? Maybe I should take off my shirt too, because like I feel weird right now. everyone's like, no,
keep it on. It's so pasty. So he's like, you know what? Fine, do this really quickly, and then we'll dip. But I'm gonna go to town, take a few pictures.
Yeah, like what did you want to do? He's like, I gotta pull up my IG feed,
he's like National Geographic style. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures.
Yeah,
and so then he does that. And the town is like deserted.
It's pretty dunzo.
It's The Walking Dead.
It's The Walking Dead. So, yeah, JLAG was like, "What the f is this?"
Like I'm watching The
deserted
Walking Dead
town.
Right now. Yeah,
but then he sees signs sort of around the town that are like reflective of what the GNG King and like the game
it's the GNG like symbols all over the town.
Yeah,
and then he sees some old freaking lady just like sitting in the middle of nowhere,
sitting in like this like broken down like kind of like gazebo thing.
Yeah,
and then she's just like. But like looking into the distance, like I wasn't sure if she was dead or not. And I'm like, Jughead, like careful, like I think she's dead.
Like don't move toward her.
And then
she might.
And then he's like, "Yo, what's going on here?" And she's like, "Ever since the Fizzle Rocks came through, we got nobody in town."
Yeah, so she mentions the Fizzle Rocks, which obviously like clues in. He's like, "Oh, like the candy," and she's like, "No, like the drugs."
She's like, "Not the original Fizzle Rocks."
Yeah, and we already knew that it was gonna be like talking about Fizzle Rocks this episode because. There was like previously on and it showed like the flashback episode
of like Hiram saying like I have Fizzle Rocks.
He's like I have Fizzle Rocks.
His one line only.
Okay. So then she's like, and then the same symbols came from the Fizzle Rocks and the drugs, like it all kind of connected. Right. So then it cuts back to the farm,
which kind of is kind of like. If you think about all those like meth towns, small towns that like are like fentanyl, like it is like that, right? Where like everyone is just not working anymore because like they're always high,
they're on drugs.
So it's kind of like that. It's really sad, actually.
That's a fair point. And like everybody's out there working, or they're all like homeless, or
or they're just kind of high.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not working. So anyways, sorry guys, so that got real.
Cuts to back of the farm. Yeah, and Lori decides to shave Archie.
She like as if his beard was like coming out, like he literally had stubble that I could not see through the TV screen. So like I don't know why she was shaving him.
There was no reason for it at all. And so anyway, she's like shaving him. She's like straddling him. He's like,
thanks for this. I really needed it.
It's like, in what world? You really didn't, but okay.
Yeah, so she's straddling him.
And
this is the moment where I was like, OMG, he's gonna like
pop off.
She's gonna get
his rocks off.
Yeah.
He's just gonna do his thing.
And then like they actually do. Like they totally make out.
They fully kiss. Yeah. And like the VARCHIE fandom, like I don't know, my entire apartment just like started shaking in that moment because everyone was screaming.
And then like as soon as they're making out, he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm Archie Andrews. I have a dad. He's like, I have a girlfriend back home.
He's like, here's my SIN number. Like, here's my address. Like, here's everything.
He's like, we just broke up, but like I'm not over her. Like, and the girl's like, okay, I guess we're not gonna have sex then.
Like legit, it took him like 2 seconds to not, like he can't even hold a lie.
And then she goes, Hiram Lodge. He's like, Hiram Lodge, yeah. Like that man. Like it was just like, okay. Like, there's a reason why he's saying like even names at this point.
Right. And so obviously it's gonna like all go downhill at that point, and it does. So then it comes back to the town, and Jughead sees like a picture of the Gargoyle King, and beside it is like a bunch of kids playing in the back of a truck. Yeah. And he's like, I'm like a level 7 master. Like he says level 3 specifically. And he's like, where is everybody? And one of the girls say, they're all out there like building the prison, right? In Riverdale. Yeah. Or I guess in the South Side. So that's where like all
the men went. So all the women are alone.
Right. And he's like, everybody, like, who do they work for though? And she's like, everybody works for the man in black.
The man in black.
Yeah. So like that's like the whole storyline in this episode is the man in black. Right. The name of the episode, obviously. And so then it cuts back to the farm, and Archie's like,
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry again.
Yeah. And she's like, you know what? We grow organic eggs here and like chicken. So like I can actually make you a bomb ass omelet.
Like to table.
We're not going to have sex, but like I'll make you an omelet still. And he's like, okay, cool.
Want my eggs? I'll get you my eggs. So he starts.
And I think actually in this moment he puts his shirt on, right?
Or
was that
not.
after?
No.
Not yet. He's still shirtless, guys. He's still shirtless.
I don't remember. I was like so boggled the entire episode. So he's eating the breakfast. He's like nom 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 nom. And I already knew. I like looked over at N-BEA and I was like, she's gonna
JLAG called it.
Yeah. And sure enough, she like hits him over the head with the pan. And the next moment is Jughead going back to the barn because he already knows something's like shifty. And so then he said, and then I think he sees Hiram from like afar. He
arriving
sees him, like,
to his house. Yeah.
Right. And so then he goes to the barn and then he sees Archie like tied up. He lets him go. And Archie's like, I'm going to fight now. So then he becomes like the
Archie
Hulk.
just wanted to kill Hiram. He's like, I can kill him right now.
Right.
He's going to come in here to see me, but I'm not tied up anymore. So like, I'm just going to kill him.
So this is the moment that I was kind of confused by because he's never said I'm gonna kill Hiram like ever since
or
the
that
beginning.
I even want to. Like he's never said like blatantly like I'm gonna commit murder.
So what did you think of
I
him
was
like
just
turning
shook.
this point?
I was just like, Archie, I know you're not gonna do this.
Like don't bother.
Sit back down. Like go home. Like you're not gonna kill Hiram.
Yeah, it's true.
And then Jughead was like pushing him. He was like, yo,
he
you're
literally
not gonna
like
do this.
grabs like gigantic like scissors like to like I can do this.
I'll hit him with this. How do I use this again?
Like no man.
Yeah, and then Jughead obviously uses like Veronica. He's like, she'll never forgive you if you kill her dad. And then he was like, true.
And like Jughead's like power persuasion was like lit. So at that moment, as they're like just trying to dip or whatever, Hiram's walking toward the barn
with the girl,
and you realize like why she does it. Because originally you're like, what the fuck is her motive? Like why does she like need to hit him over the head and stuff? But then you realize that like it sounds like he's holding her father and the brother hostage or like kind of keeping them at work. Or
he's probably like slave laboring everyone.
True. So he's forcing them to like stay, and he's like, in exchange for Archie, like you guys, like your debt will be paid and you guys can whatever. So he's probably like what's it called? A money shark? Is that what they call them?
Loan shark?
Loan shark. Money shark.
Yeah.
Who like gives money
true.
and then like they can't
and
pay
then
it back.
So he takes your life over. Yeah, for sure.
Basically. So at that point he opens the door and they're gone. Yeah. And she's like, sorry about it. She's like, can I get my brother back though? Like one of them. So as they're walking away, as they're running away, Jughead and Archie, they decide to go to Toledo. Yeah.
So as they're walking, Jughead's like, you know what? We're shit out of luck here, so like, we should just go to Ohio. And then Archie's like, okay.
Yeah. Is that where Toledo is?
Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, okay. So I don't know these things. Geography is so hard. So, So then at that point, I was like, okay, they're not going to cut to because we know the next episode is going to be like the big episode when like we meet mommy.
Mommy's back.
Yeah. So then it cuts to the Pembroke.
Yeah.
And
finally
we get Veronica's storyline. Which is pretty good. So Veronica is ready to go.
We finally get the scene that we wanted to see. She's packing up her shit and she's dipping.
Yeah.
Which is what we had said from like the first episode. We're like, girl, why are you still living at your parents' house?
Yeah.
Like it's time to leave. You effing hate them.
You own your own company.
You own your own company.
Get out of here.
So then like she's packing her bags.
Yeah.
And like she's basically like Hermione comes in, she's like, what are you doing? She's like, Mom, I'm dipping, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
And then Hermione's like, I can't do anything, like this is my life. And then which I don't understand because Veronica's like, no, like why? She goes, he is my husband. But this is your daughter.
Yeah.
Like that's your daughter. That's your number one. Like who's your effing husband? He was in prison for like how many years? He fucked you guys over.
She even says like Veronica says she's like, you should leave too. And she's like, I cannot leave him. He's my husband.
Yeah. And I think that like every time she says that, like she doesn't believe herself when she says it.
100%.
But I think that she has another plan in store for all of this.
I really hope so.
I really hope so.
Like,
like here's me hoping for that.
Praying for her real talk.
Yeah.
So
then I'm like, JLAG, where is she gonna go though? Because Archie's not home either.
Right.
And then it cuts to like
she decides to go to
the club. And JLAG's like, oh, obviously like she has a club. Why not?
Like why not? So before we keep going, we do find out in that moment that Minetta goes missing. Like Sheriff Minetta's been missing from time.
Yes.
And now he's in jail. Or like no, he was supposed to go to jail, but he's been missing. And Veronica thinks it's Hiram. That's like why she's sketching out.
She's pissed too. Yeah.
So anyway, so she's sleeping on the couch. In the speakeasy, and the next morning like she's like already at Pop, she's like cleaning up, and then she's downstairs and Reggie's like there after work or after like school, and he's like,
that's the thing, like do they not go to school anymore?
I guess it's like cutting away from school, like because school's irrelevant right now,
but like she's been there all day, like she
or maybe she did, but like it just like cut out that like little boring
show you
part.
That
so then he's like, yo, what's going on with you? And she's like, we're really poor right now, like we're hemorrhaging money, we don't have any money to like keep this thing going. like all we're doing is letting like kids play like this like crazy game in this like down place
with like mocktails.
Yeah. So then she's like, let's do a side hustle, and he's like, yeah, let's do a side hustle. I don't know who comes up with the idea.
Yeah.
But they're like a cute little.
They're really cute together. No, they're
I'm
actually
like, totally
so effing cute together, and like it was such an amazing way to give Reggie a storyline.
Yeah.
That really does fit who he is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of expanding on that a bit more. Like for him to play the bartender totally fits his character, but I'm liking him even more because like he has smart like movements too.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I really do feel like if Archie was in place of him, I don't know if I would buy it, because I just feel like Archie does dumb stuff, like adventure stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Reggie in this role, like him being the protector, the bouncer,
it was the perfect like intro role for Reggie's character.
Totally into it.
For sure.
I'm really into it. So she decides to meet up with Elio, her man, and she's like, you have a side business, I have a side business, let's do like some joint night, like a casino night at the Speakeasy, and the 25% of the like proceeds will go to you. And he's like, okay, cool. And then she was like, if I lose, then, or like if I don't make any money, then like I'll like I put on a mortgage to like the freaking
I'll remortgage the Speakeasy,
something like that. And so then Hiram shows up.
Yeah.
And we had like a little cute moment with them. Well, cute,
it wasn't really cute, but yeah,
cute more for us than for her, because he's like, I'll have a cafe con leche, please.
Yeah,
which is like a shout
That's
out.
like our OG line from Mark Consuelos. Like that was.
I was so happy to hear it, because I was like,
that was Daddy's line.
I hope they like said it for us.
No, they totally didn't.
Like, shout out to Recap Rewind.
No, so yeah, he comes in and she's just like, you want a coffee with milk?
Yeah,
that's basically what you're asking for, Dad. And he was like, yeah,
he's
sorry.
Like, yeah, I speak English now. So then he starts talking, and then he does say a cute, I do think that it's a really cute moment, because he says, you know, at the end of the day, you should be coming to us because I heard that you're having casino night, and like we're your family, and I love you.
Yeah,
we love you,
but
sister.
You crazy,
but you cray, and you like put her boyfriend in jail, and you tried to kill him. And
like, why would he come to you after that?
True story. So she's like, get out of my face.
Yeah,
like, she's pissed.
Like, it's time for you to leave.
Yeah. So it's interesting, because I really do feel like they are trying, and I think they even did try this last season with Hiram specifically. Like, he still is someone who wants to do right by his family. He just doesn't do it right. Like, he doesn't do it.
Yeah,
right.
and I think he like battles that line of like anti-hero. Like, when is he gonna be good again?
Right,
is what I'm waiting for.
Like,
because I do feel like his motivations come from a good place.
Yeah. Well, I think initially they do, and then they turn into something crazy.
Because it's all he's ever known.
Yeah.
Is like this dark side, right?
The darkness is in him.
So we'll see.
So anyway, he dips, and then it cuts to casino night.
And this was like, I don't know why I didn't see it going there.
Yeah.
But like, Casino is legit my favorite movie. So this whole sequence for me was like the best thing ever. Like, I love the transitions.
Yeah.
The split screens. So like, they did such a good job.
Yeah.
Like, they've been doing that so often, like last
little
episode
styles.
Was Scream.
Yeah.
Now this Casino.
All these like 90s movies.
Yeah, and then like thing afterwards. But yeah, it was so good. The casino part was so effing good. Veronica absolutely killed it.
Like murdered it.
Killed it in this sequence, because I feel like she's been slacking for me for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have to say, like, Cami Mendes, like, it's been bad for a little bit.
Yeah, that's
this
fair.
one, she like came through. Like, it was the best.
Yeah. So like right from the top, it's very like, we even said you said it was like Crazy Rich Asians with like,
yes, well, his bow tie, like his suit was so fancy,
like Reggie's pants too. They were like
pants.
next level pants.
He looked so cute. And like this is the thing, like he's not as like obnoxious.
No,
like before Reggie was like, I'm gonna like kill you and fuck you, but now he's just like quiet and like hot.
I feel like it was that whole stint with him and Hiram, like in his like dark circle for that hot second.
He like learned.
He like changed. Well, yeah, because like shit went down after that happened. Right? So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, now he's just like more quiet.
Yeah,
and he lets her like make the choices.
Make all the choices.
Yeah.
So then she sees Elio, and he's like winning all this freaking money.
Yeah.
And so then Reggie says like, yo, like your man's like winning shitload of money.
Yeah,
like I think we're fucked right now. Like basically you're gonna have to put that mortgage up twice. And she's like, okay, like something's sketchy about this situation. Let me like go in on this game. So she puts she goes in on the game.
This girl is fucking crazy. She goes, hey, I see you're winning over there, huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm winning so much effing money. She's like, you want my whole diner? She's like, I'll sell it for you for like one game of blackjack. He's like, yeah, Avi.
He's like losing his mind.
And then she's like, okay, here's like my freaking like pink slip to the entire place.
The fucking deed is all there.
Yeah.
So then
they play blackjack.
And
the stakes are high because I think he had what, like 19 or 20.
Like he had so much money.
No, like he had like he had 20. Because they're playing blackjack, I think, right? So he had 20, maybe. And then she was like under, so that he's like, oh, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, he's and then she's pretty close.
And then she like gets 21, so she wins. So you're like, yo,
exactly 21.
Yeah.
So then he's like, this is crazy. And
then she like gets everything back.
And then she gets everything back plus like his winnings. So like, she does make some money back.
And then Reggie's like, yo, girl, like, how'd you do that?
After the night's over, he's like, yo, how did you do that though? That's crazy. And then she's like, a little birdie told me. And then it cuts to this whole scene of Hiram basically breaking down all the tea for her right before the game starts.
She's like, well, my dad called me after. And like, I went to a secret meeting that I wasn't shown on the screen. So like, he told me that like, Elio was going to do this to me.
Yeah. So
then I hired a next dealer to like slip that card that I needed in to get 21. So she set it up.
Yeah. So she
cheated.
So she does cheat. And this is the part that kind of confused me. Like, and it's said later on with Pops. Well, okay, whatever. We'll talk about it with Pops too. But before we move on to that moment, Reggie gives her like a look. Did you see it?
Reggie? Oh, I saw it for sure. Like, I love them together though. There's something, I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's because they have this chemistry like off screen, obviously. Like the way he looks at her, he's so impressed by
dating now.
Yeah. He's so impressed by her.
Yeah.
And like, you're not supposed to really care what Reggie thinks at this point, because who is Reggie? But like, you do care. You're like, oh my God. Like, you're seeing him starting to be like, yo, like, who is this girl? You know?
And she's like, nailed it.
Yeah. And like, she's not there yet. I feel like she still has a bit. Yeah, she still has Archie, but I'm so down for them to be together and like not her and Archie at all. I'm sorry, Varchie. I'm sorry. We're gonna lose
That's
like
a real
numbers.
Shade just been thrown. So then it cuts to like the top part of Pop's diner, and Pops is like randomly giving her like sage advice, being like, yo, don't become your dad. Like so like, random.
My family had this diner. It was like every single history lesson is like slow. He's like, you know, in the 50s. Like, she's like, yeah, bro, what?
He's like the sloth from Zootopia. Like,
and then he's like, don't do shady things in here. She's like, right, I'm still gonna do it. I own this place. I got a double mortgage on this fucking shit. I can do whatever I want.
So then he does say something. He's like, please don't become your father. Don't be like your father.
Yeah,
and she's like, what do you even mean by that? And
how does she not know what he means?
I mean, I don't think she says that, but he says like Sheriff Mineta like died, like they found his body, or they think it's his body, but like his head has been decapitated, his hands are missing. Like, I'm not supposed to laugh.
Like, alligator? Jelly's like, no, like, someone cut it off.
So obviously, so he's dead now. And what do you think of her like kind of skirting this line with Hiram, and like
I just didn't
he's easily like pulling her into the dark side?
But that's what I mean. Like, I didn't understand it. It was not the first time that he's done this. Like, I feel like he's done this where like he's nice and then he legit goes and like screws your boyfriend. So like I don't understand why she was so shook in this moment.
True. I don't know either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know where anyway, but I do wonder if it's gonna go as far as her like making these really dark decisions by herself, because like this one was kind of incited by him, be like, oh well, you got to play fire with fire because he's cheating too, so you should like cheat too. What if the stakes were even different, like a little bit different, but she like decides to choose the darkness anyway?
I think that's what's gonna happen, and you can just hear it from what she says. Everything that she says is like, when my daddy was telling me this, he told me to live my life like this. He told me that to never like struggle, to never like have one paycheck. Like, everything she's ever learned is from her dad. So like, no matter how much she wants to rebel and say like, my dad's crazy and I'm not a part of him, like he's a part of you always. Like, it's gonna follow her no matter what, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So sorry, girl.
So then it cuts to Betty's storyline.
Yeah.
And her Sisters of Quiet Mercy.
So this was a really funny sequence, though. I loved, like, for the first 10, it was jokes.
Yeah. I think I love the entire sequence. This is probably my favorite out of all three of them. Really good. It's very
freaking Lily Reinhardt, man. She's so effing killing it.
So first and foremost, they give her like an internal voice.
Yes.
Who narrates the entire storyline, which is brand new. We've never heard that
for her sequence.
For her sequence. Well, we never hear it for anybody. Like we never heard it for Veronica's. We never heard it for Jughead's.
Right.
Like this is her literally being like every moment we see, she's like we're talking through it.
And it made total sense, right? Like she's in her own head at this point in the you know.
And it's like a sane asylum, so I get it. Like it's
but it worked. It worked really well.
It worked so well. And it is, you mentioned it, and I meant like I was like, yeah, that's pretty true. It's very much a Girl Interrupted, that movie in the 90s.
She very much looks like
yeah. So like people say that she looks like Brittany Murphy.
Hey, Brittany Murphy was in it, right? Because I'm not crazy.
Yeah. But she wasn't blonde in it. She was dark haired. Okay,
because I legit saw Lily and I was like, yo, she looks like Brittany Murphy. Like
because her big eyes.
Yeah, her crazy eyes. Yeah,
but it was like Winona. And
rest in peace, Brittany Murphy. But like,
yeah, true. But yeah, it was like Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie.
Like, I swear she was in it too.
So anyway, going back to our like normal conversation. So right off the top, she's doing like the Rorschach test with the sister, the main sister,
the main one.
And she keeps seeing like the first one. It's like a blotch, and she's like, "Oh, it looks like a dead body," but I'm not gonna say dead body. She's gonna be like, "Oh, it's like candy." Yeah. So like she's trying to trick
like Sour Patch Kids. Like she's saying like the best version of that.
Sour Patch Kids. She's like the Jungle Gym when I was playing.
And then the second one was like the Black Hood, obviously. Yeah, like everyone knows it's a Black Hood. Yeah,
it was literally like eyeballs.
Like they drew Hal, basically.
It's like a personal drawing of
like
Hal.
The Cooper household in the background.
So anyway, she's trying to like divert it, and she gets she passes the test or whatever, and then it cuts to her like getting meds. So like she goes to the front of the thing. She's like, "Oh, all the good girls get like candy." Yeah. And then she like looks down at it, and it's like this Fizzle Rocks. It's like red. It looks like red hearts,
red
actually.
Shit or something, like melted in a cup.
So anyways, she's the one thing that I was like, this would never happen in a psych ward is they force you to like take the meds. Because
she basically like looked at it and she's like, whatever, I'm gonna go back to my room and like drink it there. They don't let you do that. You have to swallow it.
And they like check your mouth and shit. So anyway, she takes the Fizzle Rocks obviously and throws them in the trash. As soon as
But she goes to her room.
Yeah, she goes to her room. First of all, like they're already setting up the stage because she looks around at one moment and there's this girl like holding like a baby doll.
I looked at JLAG, I was like, what was that? But she was like looking in the sky. But like talking to herself, he was like, "What?" Like, JLAG's like, "Don't, just keep going.
Let's just keep going." So then it cuts.
So she's in her room.
Yeah, she's in her room. She's like just about to. She throws the stuff away, and then of course,
all you see is like, "Hey, Betty, I'm your roommate." I'm like, this fucking bitch is back.
So Ethel, I guess, ended up in the Sisters of Quiet Mercy. She like literally just like
is that surprising?
Up. Yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
So from the hospital, she goes to Sisters of Quiet Mercy, and she comes in with like a vision board.
A vision board, like some Sierra Burgess like vision board.
It's like I slay all day. Like it's like some random shit that you see.
And like her face was like half with like a demon face.
No, it was, and then one of them was like her on top of like a like knight's body, and it was I think it did say like slay all the time or some shit. I don't know.
She's like, they told me that you needed help, so I was gonna be your roommate.
Yo,
like she's so, and she's like crazy. Putting like the like pins in her like poster already.
Yeah.
And Betty's like, oh god.
So then she starts talking with the Gargoyle King, and she says that like now I can talk to him like all the time. And Betty's like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, yeah, we've been getting really close. Like there's like this area, like whenever the sisters want you to see him, like you'll
go there. Yeah.
Oh no, she says when like you're being bad, like you go there. So then she mentions Jughead.
That's it. Like yo, this shit popped off the minute she mentioned Jughead. I was like,
but Betty had to like keep it calm for this part of the episode.
She did.
She was like breathing through her nose.
She's like, I can't tell you those things, Betty, but I could tell Jughead because like he's level 3 like me, and like we're gonna be together.
She basically says she's like things got pretty hot and heavy up in that business.
Like no, it didn't. You psycho.
She's fucking crazy.
She's literally Sierra, and then Betty's like, no, like he didn't tell me that. Like you guys just fucking pecked. Like
anyway, she's absolutely bananas.
Crazy.
And it's kind of messed up because I'm looking at this character now and I'm like, how do you come back from this? Like, how do you take this character now and be like, oh, she'll be fine next season?
So yeah,
she's fucking crazy.
So we were talking about it, and we both really think that like
she might die.
She might die. She could be on the chopping block. Yeah. But like you were saying, like RIS mentioned that it's gonna be a series regular who dies, and she's not really a series regular. Like, yeah, she's been in the season, but like she's not like technically she's not a series regular. Like, if you want to talk like technicalities,
not paid on the pay bill,
right?
But knowing this guy, he's probably just gonna like chop her off anyway.
But you're right. Like someone who's as psycho as this girl, like how do you come back from this, and like how does she go back to like Riverdale High? Yeah, like she can't. Like she's you
made out with some chick's boyfriend, and now you're like talking to like a fake twig demon man.
Yeah. So I don't know. You're right. Like I don't know if she can come back.
Or she just stays at Sisters of Choir Mercy.
That's so sad. She like loses her shit.
I mean, she's fucking crazy. Yeah. And we've been saying it from the get-go, like Ethel Muggs is crazy. So anyway, it's kind of sad though. Yeah, for sure. So then she's like, oh, let's talk about the fact that you threw away this candy. And Betty's like, please don't tell like the sisters, like I just don't like it, whatever. And she's like, well, I'm gonna take it because it's super delicious. I'm like, okay, everybody's on drugs. Like everyone's fucking on drugs. So then it cuts to outside, and
they're like pruning like the rose bushes or whatever. So, and of course, like there's enough time for like Betty to like see the parking lot from the front, I guess. Yeah. And she sees
Clifford.
Claudius.
Sorry, my bad.
Claudius.
/ Clifford. They're the same person.
And then it was a maple syrup truck though, right? And she's like, they don't serve us maple syrup. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
She's like, we don't get maple syrup with our pancakes.
Yeah.
And then so you see him. And then you see
like right in that moment, Hiram rolls up.
And Hiram's been like everywhere the whole episode, like in his town car, like rolling around.
He's literally been in everybody's story.
Like he hasn't gone home and like taken off his tie. Anyways, so he rolls up too, and he goes to meet the main OG like nun.
Yeah.
But they meet like in the open, like you can see everything basically.
And then he passes her like a manila folder. And
and they're like, thank you very much. Your business is amazing, cool.
But we're just assuming that like there's drugs being done in the Sisters of Choir Mercy, right? Is that the reason why Clifford's there with the maple truck?
Because like I feel like that Clifford scene was there to like throw you off of something. I don't know.
So in that moment though, Betty does say, she's like, true, like my mom told me that he was the one, like Hiram was the one that introduced them to the Fizzle Rocks at that time. First place. Yeah. And so flashback. Like she makes the connection. She's like, oh, maybe. So then, and then it cuts to her like trying to get into the basement, and then she finds like a big door. And she's like, this must be like the Gargoyle King's chamber. So then she walks toward it, but then she hears like screaming, like deathly screams. So then she hides in the corner, and then she sees like some girl being dragged away by the sister, and then she like waits for them to leave, and then she starts to go toward their door. She starts to open it, and Ethel like brings her back, and she was like, you're only allowed down here if you're like really sick. Hurt. She's like, it's the infirmary essentially. So then Betty decides to like go back to the main area, and she was like, all I need is like some like paper clip. They took away all of her bobby pins, obviously. So she's like, I need something to like get into the door. So then she steals like a paper clip off of like a folder, and Ethel is like, hey girl, hey, like let's play some games.
She's like, come play with me, friend.
And then
Betty's like, no bitch, like I'm not playing. She's like, friends play games with each other. And
then she's like, real friends don't kiss other girls' boyfriends. Like she goes in, and then
that was it. Like shit popped off.
She's like, go fuck yourself. Basically.
Yeah. And what did she say? Ethel was like, you know what, Betty? She's like, we're gonna be something. Me and Jughead, like once you're out of the picture, like me and like Jughead are meant to be like, we're gonna be a ship.
Yeah. And Betty's like, what are you gonna be, like Ethelhead? She like totally mocks her.
And she even calls her like a freaking psycho in her like mind.
She's like, in your dreams, crazy biatch. And then Ethel like just kind of goes in on her.
It was the best scene. I was dying of laughter. So like it was so entertaining.
And then and it was really funny hearing her like voiceover throughout this whole thing, because she's like, okay, here we go, and she like literally drops to the floor and like does the seizure. So it's like they didn't want the audience to be out of the loop in this episode, or like this part of the episode at least. So you know that she's doing it on purpose. Right. So then she gets to the infirmary, and she's obviously totally fine. So they leave her.
She sneaks away. She goes to the desk. opens the desk with like all the medical records, I guess.
Right.
Finds hers.
And then she starts to read like all the details. There's like something about like drugs being put into the system, and now there's like
take this much a day, something.
Yeah, and then something about HL, which you thought was
I thought it was hormone levels. I was like, oh my god, they're fucking with their periods, because it's just happening to girls.
It's true. We did mention the fact that like it's only like the seizures have only been happening to the women of Riverdale or the girls of Riverdale, so it's like maybe there is a connection there that it has to do with like, I don't know, tampons or something, but it's very like weird. So anyway, she's like, I don't know what's going on, and then she kind of makes the connection like there's some sort of like transaction being happened. There's like some lab, like they're using them as like lab rats essentially for like the meds or like the drugs to see how well they work.
They're gonna react. This is so crazy.
It's fucked up if that's the real storyline, because like, yo, you're a real criminal. So then she's like, okay, I got my file, I'm gonna dip now. So then she thinks that there's like a locked area, which is where
Veronica told her, look for the X on the door, like that's your escape door.
This is the one thing that I didn't understand, why she thought it was gonna still be like, if obviously
if someone seeked out, they'd freaking close the door, like, dumbass.
Like that's obviously
so of course, like, and the music was like so lit at this point too. She's like, I'm just gonna get out. She opens the door and it's like bricked wall behind it.
Yeah.
I was like,
and she's like, fuck. And then obviously
everyone's like
Ethel's
behind
in the
her.
back.
Yeah, she's like, I told you she'd be here. Like, this girl needs to get punched.
She needs to get shot. Like, she needs to go away. And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's an easy like win for her
you're
to
right.
dip.
You're right.
But at the same
she's
time,
not big enough, I feel like.
She's not. Anyway, we'll see. So anyway, they in that moment they're like, she needs her meds, and like freaking Ethel's like shaking like a full cup full of like freaking fizzle rocks, and they like force it down her throat this time, which like they should have done the first time around. But then she's like, I think Ethel even says, she's like, I guess you are gonna meet the Gargoyle King. And then it's such a freaky moment because she's drugged up, and then they take her to that door, and then they like chuck her in the room, and all the music starts to play, and it's really creepy sounding. And then they're like, the king awaits you, but you never like see her perspective. You only see like red and like her face, and she's like freaking the fuck out. And then it cuts back to that moment from the beginning of her part where she
shows her the images
test again, and she's like, what do you see?
And now she says it. She's like, I see a body. I see the Black Hood. I see the GG King. Like,
and she says like a whole poem, like, the king, my savior. I love the flight. I'm gonna fly.
I'll follow you everywhere.
Yeah, and then that's the end of the episode and her part.
Crazy.
What a freaking episode.
Crazy.
Yo, we got through that pretty damn fast, which is pretty.
That was good.
And you know what it is? I think it has to do with like the way it's sectioned out.
For sure, because you're not jumping back and forth from all these storylines. I really like the way it's been laid out.
Well, guys, let's do this again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a really good episode for sure. I guess we're getting to the mid-season finale now.
Yes.
And like, it'll be interesting to see how
don't forget, guys, next week's special episode for our mid-season finale.
True. Yeah, we're going to be doing a live show. We're not going to do our podcast like we normally do on the Wednesday night. We're going to do it on the Thursday night, so make sure you guys are joining in and tuning in at 8 p.m. ET.
It's going to be a live podcast with you guys. So I'm so excited. That's going to be so much fun.
And we might
hopefully we'll have a dead person.
Yes.
From the episode.
Confirmed.
Yeah. We're not going to kill anyone.
Someone's going to die. Yeah. Before we get into our recap roundups, let's talk about some of y'all's recap roundups. So we got at @true_Nico giving us their MVPs and LVPs. MVP is the Archie. Oh, he gave us some like breakdowns. MVP of the Archie Jughead storyline is Jughead. LVP is Archie. Ooh. MVP of the Veronica storyline, Hiram. Oh, interesting. And LVP is Elio. And then the MVP of the Betty storyline is Betty, of course. And LVP is Ethel.
Yeah, because she's a crazy ass bee.
And he did give us he did say you guys should break down all three parts of the episode. Like an example would be like break each one up. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to do that, but that's okay. And then at Postmaster Radio says best moment was Veronica versus Elio, battle for La Nuit.
Casino.
Yeah, that. And his WTF moment was Betty at the end. MVP is Juggy for keeping Archie in line, and LVP is Archie. Best line, not the 5 seasons, but it'll do. And that was from Veronica. So let's get into our
recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment has to go to the casino because
life.
That's my effing favorite movie with De Niro and Sharon Stone, and I've seen it I don't know how many times. So for them to do it in this sequence and the way they nailed it, they did a really good job. And like I said, it like made Veronica shine a little bit more. So I was like really excited about that. It was really,
a very
really well
scene
done
to watch. Absolutely. Mine is gonna go to like another movie reference with A Girl Interrupted. That whole sequence with Betty was my favorite. Yes. I think that like even you talking about that whole fight between her and Ethel in the common area was really funny too. So like definitely that it was just very
entertaining,
like, and very different. I loved the voiceover. I loved like the internal monologue. It was very cool.
WTF moment. My WTF moment, I think, is the ending. I think with that whole sequence with Betty and just the Gigi King, like I just didn't understand what was happening, but I'm also really intrigued too, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on.
But how intrigued are you before you start to be like, what?
I don't know.
What is
I
happening?
kind of wanted to see him. I was like, they're gonna show him. They're gonna like surprise us all right now and like show him, and then they didn't show him.
But they do show him at the very, very, very end.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like a dream. Like she's like seeing him because she's so drugged up.
So what do you think this whole situation is? Like he's just.
I think it's like you're seeing things.
Yeah.
Because you're so high.
I don't know. This is crazy, guys. So my WTF moment is that whole moment at the farm and that whole random storyline. We have to remember, like, he's just on an event, like not even on an adventure. He's just running away. Like Archie's just running away. How does he happen to stumble upon a farm that is like tied to Hiram Lodge's situation?
That was a little unbelievable.
And like this girl like betrays him low key. Like it's just like such a random thing to throw into their court. But I guess they had to have like some shit going on with him. So like I get it, I guess.
MVP. My MVP is gonna be Veronica. I think she saved the day for her place.
Storyline,
She didn't have to get the second mortgage in the end. So she like did good with the one. And I think, she killed it. And like I was saying, I think for a while I was really annoyed by her in this season. Mm-hmm. This episode, she definitely came back.
She pulled in.
And it's just funny that like she was the most lit without Archie.
Yeah.
So like what does that say for both of their characters? Like I'm sorry, #Archie, but like they need a break from each other.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
It's not like I'm in love.
Yeah, like let me save your life from this video that I should have seen 4 months ago.
Like look at her. She's
like making money moves. Yeah, with Reggie. Like no, girl, choose this life.
#Veggie. My MVP is gonna go to Jughead because he literally saved Archie from dying. First of all,
he did.
And I think he's just gonna keep helping him through this journey that he's taking him to Toledo or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's good that Jughead's there clearly because he's an idiot.
And I'm glad that they focus on their friendship again because that was really lacking. I feel like, it's such a cute relationship.
And it's funny that you mentioned that it was very much a parallel to that Halloween episode that we had last season
because they were
paired up again, like him and Jughead. Yeah. So it was cute to see them again together. BFFs forever.
LVP.
I mean, my LVP, you already know who it is.
This
bitch is crazy. Like Ethel, I can't deal with you anymore.
She's
like
psycho.
It's like they could have just made her psycho, but they made her like a crazy bitch psycho.
She's like bananas.
Like vision board. Like I stole your man, but I haven't even like touched him yet.
I'm talking to like a fake twig monster.
Oh
like,
my god, she's beyond crazy.
She's beyond, and there's no, like I said, there's no coming back from it. So I don't know. If
I just wish she was cooler.
Crazy. Yeah, like she's just a crazy loser at this point.
Yeah,
and it's not fair to
Sierra
Ethel. Like Sierra Burgess is a loser.
It is. The end.
So is Ethel Muggs, I guess. My LVP is gonna go to Archie just because I think that he almost got himself killed, and it's funny because Jughead says he's like, Betty's fine. She found out a murderer. You can't even like stand on your own 2 legs. You're such a dumbass. So, it came true by the end of his part. So like, if he had done what he did, he would have just gone caught /
for sure
killed.
Or killed. Yeah.
So like, Archie needs those people in his life, and Jughead, thank God for you at this moment.
The best line. My best line. It's gonna go to the ending with the 2 girls, and it was when Ethel was like, "We're gonna be a ship," and then Betty's like what? Ethelhead.
Which is funny because I think when they first had the kiss, one of the writers of the show were like, who ships Ethelhead? And everybody went off on the entire group, and they were like, no freaking way, it's never gonna happen. So the fact that they like brought back in a ship name was pretty funny. Mine is gonna go to our girl Lori Lake, because she had like one good line.
She did. Really profound.
Apparently, she's also like Elvis's granddaughter.
Was it Lisa Presley's daughter?
But like that's his daughter, so her granddaughter, his granddaughter.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. Side note, she says sometimes when you're trying to survive, it's easy to lose who you are.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's very Walking Dead of you to say.
It's very true, and I think it speaks so much for, because this whole episode I was really wondering about Alice. I was like, you're the worst mom ever.
Yeah.
But when you look at them, really all she was really trying to do was like make sure her daughter effing survives.
Yeah.
But in the process of what that's doing is like she's like literally like killing her daughter.
Yeah.
Same with Hermione, right? Like Hermione wants to survive, and maybe she thinks the only way she can survive is like to be with Hiram, but like in the process, like she's ruining her family.
It's true.
So like it's
So I don't know if this is the appropriate time to talk about it, and maybe we should wait until next episode to talk about it more deeply. But like, can we once again kind of uncover and talk about who you think the Gargoyle King is?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. No, I'm gonna say no. I think it's way too obvious for Hiram to be the Gargoyle King.
But he is the Man in Black.
And I do have to say the fact that the name is Gargoyle King is throwing me off a lot. I feel like the focus is gonna be on like a guy. Yeah. Because it's been a guy for the two seasons.
Yeah.
This season I think it's gonna be a mommy.
A mommy.
And I think it's gonna be our mommy.
Hermione.
Marisol Nichols. Yeah. Hermione Lodge.
It's gonna be rough. But
look,
we were talking about it offline, and like we really thought
it
that
makes
like
sense.
it just everything connects so well to her. I think even that whole storyline with Archie being a part of it, like we don't need to talk about this in detail, but let us know what you guys think about throwing Hermione's name into the ring as Gargoyle Queen, I guess, because I really think that like some things are lining up.
No, you're right about the Archie thing. You're right.
The fact that she's like, I'm over this kid, and the fact that you guys are infatuated. Like
what's wrong with you guys? Get over him.
Loki, like he is kind of tearing apart the family, right? The Lodge family. So like getting rid of him would make sense. And then the second victim would be like Hiram, to be like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like you're so annoying. So
I was reading this account on Instagram just now, and like there was another good point that they made, because they were like, Hermione going to the whole school and being like, don't ever play this game. The G&G game is so bad for you guys. Like if you guys get caught, like they were like, of course they're gonna go play it now. Like you're making them, like you're saying don't do it. They're gonna do that one thing that you're telling them not to do.
But she's also the one that kind of like held that whole meeting with the parents to be like, yo,
what if it's all set up? I don't know. To me right now, she's my number one right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Guys, we're clocking it in for episode 7. Yeah. So let's see what happens. The gag is, and so that's the episode. But before we finish off, we have a few amazing announcements. First and foremost, we have amazing fans, listeners, rewinders. You guys are amazing. We love you so much. And some of you guys are super, super, super talented. We had one of our amazing listeners, at SuperPaul. That's his tagline on Twitter. And I hope you guys have been following him and following our Twitter account to find out this story. But he is a designer, and he makes like all these amazing things. And one of the things that he wanted to make us was a custom Riverdale themed pillow. And he said, like, why don't you guys use this as a contest gift? So we are, and so we're holding a contest that is starting now. So starting to open like yesterday.
Floodgates are open.
All the details are going to be on our Instagram as well as our Twitter and our YouTube. If you check out our community tab, all you need to do to enter to win this amazing custom pillow, it's beautiful and it looks so soft and delicious, is answer the following question. It is,
who was my MVP for season 3 episode 1?
So you gotta do some digging.
If you don't remember.
And once you answer the question. We're gonna put all of the people who get the answer correctly into a little pool, and we will do the draw.
We'll draw your name
at the beginning of the new half part of the season. So when we're all back from break, so that is January 16th, I think, is when the episode drops, and the contest ends on the 15th.
Right.
So guys, just keep an eye out for that, and I hope you guys enter. It's free to play. So enter, and we'll put your name in the ring if you're right. So good luck, guys. The next thing that we want to announce is we are going live. Like we said, live next week It's going to be our very first live Riverdale show. If you've checked out our Sabrina ones, we've done a couple of those and they've been really successful. So we're going to bring it back for this time around.
And what does that mean for the fans?
So that means that you guys can tune in on Thursday instead of Wednesday
on YouTube
and join our live chat, because we'll be listening to you guys the entire time. We can discuss the entire episode.
We can't mess up.
Someone might die.
And we can't mess up because we live.
Because we live. So things might happen. I might be sniffling. Who knows? But just listen in on that
Thursday,
day, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern time.
And we're just going to discuss all the tea before we go on break for about a month.
Yeah.
And so that'll be really exciting. So I hope you guys can join us. And finally, we love you guys on social. So make sure you guys are subscribing and following us on everything. But we are opening up our very own Patreon account. So we are just dropping that. We just decided to open it up this time around. So we hope that you guys can check it out. And our Patreon is patreon.com/recap_rewind as usual.
So if you guys don't know what Patreon is, it's a little bit of like a online community where our supporters, our listeners, like you guys, get to give like a little bit of love to us, because we've been doing this for a couple of years, and it's just me and JLAG.
Yeah.
And we do it all, and we stay up really late, and we drive through snowstorms to record podcasts.
Yeah.
So we do all of this for you guys and for us, because we really enjoy it. But Patreon hopefully will help us a little bit, because we do want to do more prizes for you guys, more contests. We really want to get into merchandise for you guys too. So we need some love to do that.
Yeah.
So
by love we mean like
ching ching, like that money. Yeah. So we'll keep the links there for you guys under the video as well, so you guys can see our Patreon page, because there will be exclusive content when you guys sign up for that membership.
You can check out our tiers and you can see what you can get with what you are putting in per month. And it's just an exciting little extra chapter. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you do, we'll love you even.
That's it.
Like we'll love you either way. That's it, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.